thank you so much for your time again. Would you mind to introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. My name is Omer Caspi. I'm the Israeli representative in Taipei, Taiwan. I'm here for 3.5 years already, working in our office not far from here. Our term here is for 4 years. I'm here with my family, with my wife and 2 children, and unfortunately we have to leave in the summer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How's your life with your family so far in Taiwan?
I think since day one we were welcomed so nicely by the Taiwanese people. My kids, they study in the international school and they have friends. Some of them are Taiwanese, some of them are foreigners. We enjoy very much traveling in Taiwan, and we meet a lot of people during our travels and work. And all in all, it was and still is a great experience for us.
Sounds good. What is your favorite place in Taiwan? And also, Taiwan has known for food, right? So what is your favorite food in Taiwan?
Okay, because of COVID, we couldn't really leave Taiwan for many years. So the good thing about it that we could explore Taiwan itself, and we traveled to some places many times, again and again and again. And I think there are so many nice places here. I would say in Taipei, probably the best thing I like to go to is Dihua Street, this area.
Oh, the old town.
The old town.
So you like the old town?
I like the old town. And from time to time during weekends we go there, and especially before the Lunar Festival there is a very nice market, so we love it in Taipei. Another place that we find very interesting is Longshan Temple. Whenever we have guests, and even without, we go there, observe, look at what's going on. There is always something going on there. It's very interesting. Outside of Taipei, I would say definitely Taroko.
Yeah.
In Hualien. This is really incredible, world level, beautiful park. And we went there already 3 or 4 times. Each time we go to other parts of the gorge, and this is a really amazing place. All in all, the East Coast, starting from Ilan, Hualien and Taitung, I think it's amazing. I like to drive there. There are 2 roads, one along the beach, along the seashore, and the other in the valley. And we like to travel there and to see all these amazing landscape that you have in Taiwan.
What about the food? So what is your favorite food? And also, do you have like a nightmare food? Like you don't want to try that again?
Well, of course, one of the first places I went to when I arrived is Din Tai Fung. You know, the dim sum, xiao lo bang, and since then we keep returning because it's always tasty and delicious. I also like beef noodles, especially in the winter now. It's the great season to have beef noodles.
It's warm, right?
It's warm and it's spicy, and it's very, very good. There are some spots that are very traditional places that they sell beef noodles for decades now, and we like to go there and eat. Well, the natural thing to talk about an experience with food that I don't like would be stinky tofu, of course.
Yeah, of course. A lot of foreigners, they don't like it.
Yeah, so I try very politely to skip it if possible.
So
I think that Taiwanese people are very brave that they eat it and even like it.
So how about the 1,000 years egg? I mean, have you tried that before?
Yes,
It's a black one.
Black one, yeah. I think it's good. Yeah, I taste it from time to time. And of course, there is these special dishes related to holidays here, like the moon cakes.
Oh, yeah.
During the autumn festival, it's very delicious. Although in Israel, you wouldn't find cakes filled with beans or things like that.
So it's rare for you guys.
It's rare. It's very special, but I like it. Also with the egg. So we enjoy having the traditional dishes as well.
As your perspective, I was wondering, like, have you noticed any, like, big difference between like Israel and Taiwan? I mean, in general?
Well, I will first maybe say there are many similarities that I discovered here between Israel and Taiwan, between Israelis and Taiwanese. I think between Israel and Taiwan, in a way, both places they are not that rich with natural resources. And the main resource that we have here and in Israel is our brains. We rely a lot about the human wisdom, the people's minds, and these are the engines of our economies, innovation, how to develop ourselves. So this is one thing that is very similar between Taiwan and Israel. Another thing is that people are in both places are very warm and welcoming, and I think both families, Israeli families and Taiwanese families, also emphasize a lot education. They need to be very well educated and to invest a lot in the next generations for our future. I think both Taiwan and Israel, they have two legs, one leg in the past, remembering the heritage, the culture, the tradition, but the other leg in the future, looking always with optimism towards the future.
As a Taiwanese, I think Taiwanese people are not very familiar about Israel. So I think it's a good chance. Maybe you can share a bit your perspective to Taiwanese.
Well, I think Israel is well known mainly in two things. First is our history. Being the Holy Land for three major religions, Jerusalem is the capital of Israel, and it has holy sites for Jewish people, for Christians, and for Muslims. So this is a very special place in the world. And pilgrims and visitors are coming from all over the world to experience the beauty and the importance of Israel in general and Jerusalem specifically. So I think this is one aspect that Israel is very well known about. The other thing is the innovation. Israel is a hub for technology and innovation. Many people call us startup nation, and our developments, some of them really contributed a lot to the development of humanity, not only to Israel. And today, when you go in Israel, you feel like you are in a Silicon Valley, but it's a country. The whole country is full of high-tech industrial park, of different companies from all over the world, and a lot of young people who are coming with great ideas, and they turn their ideas into a real products. So I think these two things are very interesting and unique about Israel.
What about the people? I mean, if we like talk about like Taiwanese, I think Taiwanese is welcoming and warm and considerate. So if like Taiwanese people visit Israel, what can they expect? Like what are Israeli people like, and what is Israeli culture like?
Well, I think, we are a special country because we are the only Jewish country in the world.
Yeah.
And Jews came to Israel from more than 80 countries. So Israel is actually a mosaic of different cultures and different traditions of people who came from North Africa, from the Middle East, from Europe, East Europe, USA, North America. So in Israel you can find a mixture of cultures. So this is one thing. You can go and see different traditions and cultures even in the same place. But in general, we can say that Israelis are very warm, like open and frank, and like to immediately talk to you, very communicative. Whenever you travel in Israel, people immediately will have a conversation, will open a conversation with you, maybe even invite you to their home and to have a drink or something like that. We are very, very open and direct in our way. Also, the Israelis are not that formal. Even in a working place or in schools or universities, People are, talking with each other less in a formal way and more in a very direct and informal manner.
Is it safe to visit Israel? I think maybe there are some area it's not safe for maybe tourists. Can you talk about that?
Look, like in many places, here included, there are places or times that are the situation might be not different, but I think all in all, I live there. My kids grew up there, and their kids will live there. So I think all in all, Israel is a safe place. Of course, if there are sensitive times, you should be aware of it as a tourist. But generally speaking, there is no problem, and not different than any other place in the world.
I think Taiwanese people love to eat, and in Taiwan we have a lot of street food, right? So what can I expect about what is Israeli food like?
Like I said, people came to Israel from different places.
Yeah.
So it also applied to food. When you look for an Israeli food, you can find different kinds of cuisines. I think the major thing is kind of Mediterranean food, which is
like
based
hummus, right?
like hummus, like using olive oil and garlic and lemon and different spices that are local in the area. So this is probably the most popular food in Israel, and you can find it not only in Israel but in other neighboring countries in the Middle East and the Mediterranean. But then you have all these communities that people came from. Let's say my mother, she came from Uzbekistan in Central Asia. So her mother, my grandmother, she taught her also to cook Uzbekistani
own country
food.
Yeah.
People that came from East Europe, they brought their own local traditional dishes, and you can find them everywhere. Another thing is, like in Taiwan, is the street food, which is in Israel is very, very popular. You have markets. And in these markets, some of them are night markets, some of them are daytime markets. You have a lot and diverse food stalls where you can find everything. We love a lot in holidays also with the family to do barbecue, like you do here.
Yeah.
We like to eat breakfast outside. You go in Israel everywhere, you see hundreds of restaurants and coffee shops, all full of people. And at the same time also you find very high quality and quite expensive upscale restaurants as well. So it's in many ways it's very similar to the food scenes in Taiwan.
Yeah, because you mentioned pickle. I think Taiwan is very diverse. I mean, about the cuisine, we have like Korean food, Japanese food, some
Korean, you have
Europe.
Hakka food, you have different Mingzu food, local dishes. So it's very much the same.
Some of the Taiwanese people will like it.
I'm sure they do.
They will try everything.
Yes, and I hope more and more Taiwanese will have the opportunity to visit Israel.
Okay.
Now that the COVID limitations, restrictions are off, so people can travel again from one place to another, and we really welcome Taiwanese to come and visit Israel. I am very lucky to be here in Taiwan when we celebrate this year a 30th anniversary since we opened our office in Taipei and the Taiwanese office in Israel. Both offices were opened in 1993. So this year we celebrate this anniversary, and we are very proud when we look back on the achievements that we achieved together. We can be very proud. For example, we signed more than 20 agreements between Israel and Taiwan, covering a vast spectrum of issues. We have an agreement on education, on health cooperation, on science, on economy, on innovation. This is really amazing. And not only the agreements, but also our trade. bilateral trade is growing every year, especially during the COVID. I was very surprised to see that not only it did not affect the trade, but it also contributed in a way, and the trade went up in a very high level in the past 2 years. Number of tourists before COVID, many tourists started to travel between Israel and Taiwan, and many of them came here. Now we see it is renewing. We have collaboration in culture and art, in the academic field. We have a lot of students that we exchange. So I think when we look back, we see a lot of things that were achieved. When we look to the future, we see much more that we can achieve. And to celebrate this, we open an exhibition right here in the National Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall. We call it Meet Israel Through Taiwanese Eyes. We collected photos taken by Taiwanese who visited Israel in the past few years, and they took pictures, tourist pictures, but very interesting and very nice. And we collected 30 of them, each photo for 1 year that we celebrate. And we put them together in a very nice exhibition that is exhibited here in the hall for another few months. So I really suggest you, those of you who would like to know more about Israel and to look at Israel the way Taiwanese are looking at Israel, please go to see this exhibition and enjoy it.
Usually last part, I always ask my guests, do you want to try a little bit Mandarin?
没问题。我学过中文，在希伯来大学耶路撒冷，在以色列，但是很多年以前，现在快忘了，我不知道怎么说，但是我喜欢练习一点。
好，那能不能请你用中文跟观众台湾的观众说一句话？
可以，我请台湾的人来参观以色列，以色列很漂亮，很有意思。我希望有很多人来从台湾到以色列，欢迎你们。
Last part, so can you say in Hebrew to Israeli people? Maybe they want to come to visit Taiwan or maybe studying. Yeah.
אני מזמין את כל הישראלים שרוצים לגלות מקום מעניין ויפהפה ואנשים נחמדים לבוא ולבקר בטיוואן. בואו ואל תבזבזו אפילו רגע. כבר מחר לקנות כרטיס ולבוא.
Would you mind to explain a little bit? I can put a subtitle. Yeah.
I said I call all Israelis, they would like to see a beautiful and interesting place to come to Taiwan. Do it tomorrow. Buy the ticket tomorrow and come.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for your time.
I enjoyed it so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Thanks
thank
a
you.
lot.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Why it's your favorite?
Because as a Taiwanese, I think it's very crowded, very livable, very energetic, and I can see so many like small shops on the left or right side. So I think I can definitely find good food, and I can find a souvenir, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
This is the Machne Yehuda market in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
The biggest market in Jerusalem and one of the biggest markets in Israel. I think this picture was taken probably on Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, we have a Shabbat, which is Saturday. It's a holiday for the Jewish people.
Oh.
And most places in Israel will be closed during Shabbat. So on Friday, which is the last weekday before Shabbat, a lot of people, especially in Jerusalem, they go to the market, buy some groceries, buy stuff for their home, for the Shabbat dinner, for the weekend. So I think this is the situation during the Friday when this market is really full of people. In this market, you can find everything. You can find vegetables and fruits and food. You can find some clothes, but you can also find a lot of good restaurants and bars and coffee shops. So this is one of the central places of Jerusalem.
I see. Yeah, I like this one.
Yes.
Maybe you can choose one, then we can, share to the audience.
There are You know, we talked about that some people took pictures of the same spot, but it is completely different because it gives this special angle. So this is a good example. And even here, you know, these are all 4 pictures of the Dead Sea taken by different photographers. But each photo, you know, shows a different, unique way of the Dead Sea. For example, this one, he chose to focus on the grains of, like diamonds, it's salt. This one, this is very famous, of course, because the Dead Sea, which is the lowest point on Earth, when you go in, you can float. But you should be very careful not to let your eyes...
Very salty, right?
Yeah, it's very salty. So this guy here, you know, is reading the newspaper while floating.
Like a boss.
And this one, he took a broader angle, showed the rainbow over the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is in the middle of the desert, so you always see how beautiful it is because it's surrounded by desert and mountains like that, and the color is very special. And here you can see the resorts on the shore of the Dead Sea. This is one of them. There are many. So I'm sure that tourists that will come from Taiwan to the Dead Sea, they can stay there for a few days, enjoy the resorts, and enjoying floating on the water. Some brief introduction of the relations between Israel and Taiwan. So you can also learn a little bit, of course it's a very short paragraph, but you can also learn a little bit about our relations. So all in all, to people who visit the exhibition, they learn and they also enjoy the beauty of the photos.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.